Okay, move down to number 2. It says citizens participation. We got anyone out there who wants to come up and talk to us tonight? Okay.
My name is Carol Dixon, and I'm here tonight to...
Come up to the mic right here and tell everybody who you
All
are.
right, I do have something that is...
We give you 5 minutes now. We've fair to everybody.
Okay, I will do my best. I don't want to talk too fast, because then you might not get me, but anyway. My name is Carol Dixon, and thank you for allowing me for this opportunity to speak with you. I am a resident of Dade County. I live at 594 Cherokee Loop, Rising, Vaughn, Georgia, in the New Salem community. I moved here 18 years ago with my family. We live here on a 3-acre mini farm, raising animals, gardening, and enjoying the country lifestyle. I just retired this February 2022 after working for many years to one day retire on my little farm. I finally obtained that goal in February and live on my farm with my dogs, cats, chickens, and goats. However, events have taken a turn, and my retirement life is turning into a nightmare because of a current neighbor and property owner, Colton Moore, and his father, Walter Moore. It is particularly important for me to bring my concerns to the commission, because I need to make a public awareness with information that demonstrates Colton Moore's personality and ethics as one who was running for political office. This office is for the Georgia State Senate District 53 and includes Dade County. Where my story starts is that Colton's father, Walter Moore, told me that they wanted to clear their pasture next door on their 62 acres, and they wanted to bring in cows and raise cattle. This was approximately 2 years ago. There was little or no fencing on the subject property, and he asked me if they could share my present pasture fencing, which was installed when I moved here 18 years ago by me. I told Walter that I wanted to be a good neighbor and agreed to sharing my fences. So they added some fencing to mine to complete a pasture, got a couple cows, then more as they increased their pasture fencing. Their new pasture really never established a good standing of grass, and it wasn't long before his cows were pushing on and weakening my older fences, trying to get grass in my plush green goat pasture. One day, I received a phone call from Colton asking me if I knew anything about his cows getting out of the pasture. I was working from home at the time and told him I would go outside, and saw several people outside rounding up the cows. The following day, his father, Walter, came over and asked me if I had intentionally let the cows out. That is something I would never do. Sometime later, I told Colton that he would need to put up his own new fences on his side of the property lines. He said that he would change out my fencing using my fence posts to make it stronger, but I stated that he needed to build his own fences on his property. He started questioning whether the fences were truly mine and threatened to cut them down. I told him not to touch my fences or I would call the police. On July 2nd of last year, I was driving home down the loop, and there was a piece of heavy equipment parked in the right-of-way, which happens quite often, and I lightly tapped the car horn because I did not see anyone in the vehicle. Later that day, Colton hauled a junk car to the front side of my property line, right next to my driveway, which is maybe 20, 30 feet over, and when I asked him what he was doing, he said that I had no right to beep at him, and that was the reason why. I explained that I didn't see anyone there and that they have in the past had a habit of blocking the road and needed to be more mindful of that since it was a public right-of-way. I decided to get an updated survey and paid to have Daniel Colliers to resurvey the property, marking the property line with orange stakes and ribbons every 50 feet on our common property lines. One of Colton's cows busted through my fence, and Colton barely reattached it. I had to hire somebody to secure the fencing, and while doing so was confronted by Colton, who indicated that I shouldn't have gone through the trouble to hire a surveyor. I told him I was doing both of us a favor and he could now proceed to build his own fence on his own property. Ironically, I had a span of about 250 feet of fencing that was on his property by no more than 3 inches. We walked the property line together, and he said that it was now his fence and that he was going to cut it down. Again, I told him I would move it. Later that evening, I heard heavy equipment and realized that he and his father had cut the 250-foot span of fencing, pulled it and all of the fence posts out of the ground, rolled them up into a ball, and piled them up on top of the white junk vehicle that was on the property line. My goats were in that pasture, and I had to quickly herd them into an area in front of the barn. Moore's cows were supposedly moved down the road to a neighbor's pasture that had grass.
Got about a minute and a half, so kind of get to the point.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Well, anyway, I guess the point of the matter is I've had to call the police out to my house 3 times because of behavior that's just not appropriate. And the latest was just this past Tuesday when I had 3 big pickup trucks containing 5 late 20s, 30s gentlemen, not really gentlemen, pull into the side property, and they were shooting guns for over 2 hours, 2.5 hours. I called Trenton Police again. They said, they have a right to shoot, but, we can't really do much about it. And the bottom line is that this is all retaliation because I haven't given him his way to use my fences, to do what he wants, to speak the way he wants. And so I really feel like I have been bullied by them. Colton told me he was going to make my life so miserable that I would have to sell and move. They have beeped horns at me and driven their heavy equipment back and forth. I am a 63-year-old retired lady who lives by myself. Because I am not allowing them to have their way, they are retaliating, showing aggression, and causing me undue stress. I have no problems with any other land adjoining neighbors and only want to live peacefully on my farm. Something needs to be done. I realize that Dade County has no zoning laws, and this is a serious problem. This needs to change. Nobody wants it to be their problem until it's happening to them. Nobody wants piles of junk to accumulate next to their property where there could potentially be fuel runoff, contamination, and vermin. It would be a wonderful world if everyone could live with the do unto others rule, and that is why we must have laws for guidelines. I am afraid of this intimidation, fear, and bullying. I'm also fearful that Colton Moore's personality will not represent our county well, should he be elected to the Senate position. This is not a Democratic or a Republican thing. This is a people thing. This is a moral thing. There are many people in Dade County who support my feelings but are afraid to say anything or place a Steve Henry sign in their yard for fear of retaliation. And the public needs to know about this. So in closing, please, I am here tonight to ask for help from the Dade County Commission. Can I count on you for some action so I can better enjoy my little retirement farm and help Dade County to be a better, safer place to live? Thanks for your attention. And we do have some pictures that I just want to show you guys because you got to see it to believe it. This is my side property line, and this is where the white car is with the fencing and my fence post all on top of it. That's my red barn. The property line goes down and then swings over to the right. And those are things that he's placed all along my fence line, just on his side, to show you what he's trying to accomplish. And as he says, make me so unhappy that I'll move.
I'm going to cut you short, though. We try to be fair to everybody on 5 minutes, and I just...
That's outside my garage window.
Yeah.
And this is a BP gas station that was down in Rising Fawn. There's the other half of it. This is where my driveway goes up the side there. There's a couch out by the road, a school bus. And here's the 3 guys yesterday shooting. My fence goes right here and then alongside my barn, right next to the goats.
Okay, we appreciate you coming tonight. And as you said, we do not have zoning laws in the county. And I know you've probably seen an attorney. And as far as them violating the law, that the sheriff's department should determine, like the shooting, if they told you that they were not violating the law, it's not right what they're doing, but I know you've been told it's a civil matter, and whether in the near future, I don't know how commissioners feel about it. I know we've talked zoning in this county for a long time, and the majority of people do not want zoning. They may now. It may change. But I'll let you, Melissa, you're the commissioner out there. I'll let you comment if you want to, and we'll just go.
Well, it's a hard place to comment. I live my life, the way I treat others is the way I would like to be treated. And I do wish that there would something that could be done, but as it stands, the commission is, here with our hands up. I mean, there's not really, it's going to be left up to your decisions and the sheriff's department of what could be done. I feel for you. I know that it's got to be rough. It's got to be rough.
Thank you.
Robert?
Well, I have driven out and saw the stuff that's there. It's there. The pictures did not lie. I don't know, other than the story that was relayed to us tonight, I do feel for you. Like Chairman Rumney said, and Melissa, we don't have zoning. And you are so right, most people don't want it until something happens to me, to my place and my boundaries. But I do feel for you, and if there's anything that certainly if our sheriff's department would find that they can do, I think probably the EPA's probably been called out because of as you said, maybe fuel leakage, oil, whatever, and contamination. But that's really all we can say tonight but I do feel for and I'm sorry for
Yes.
what's happened to you.
Look, does Dade County have any, I mean, even though there's no zoning, are there not any issues that are regarding the EPA and stuff that the county can help with to step things up at a state level?
The state people's been out there. You know, they did not find any violations. You've had the EPD out there. You've had the erosion people. You know, you've had everybody look at it, you know,
Not everybody.
and they reported back.
Not everybody, Ted.
Well, maybe there'll be more, you know, I don't,
Okay, all
but,
right.
you know, but they've reported back to us, you know, if there was anything that came back to us, yes, we could make a move, but they've got to be behind us, you know. I mean, it's, you know, because, you know, our people that we deal with in Rome, you know, Jason, all of them have been out there and looked at it. And even one person that I wasn't aware of, that's with the solid waste, I think you had them out, he came directly from Atlanta. Mr. Hartline?
I'm not dealing with exactly the same thing, but I've just spent a small fortune on fences for my neighbors to keep their animals off of my property. I understand. But in the same token, you're living in the country. I do know that, like he said, they've been out there and nothing's illegal. The shooting's not illegal from what the sheriff said. So, and when you say your fence on that line, was that fence on the property line? Because if it was on the property line,
Any cut?
when it started out, the fence, you said your fence between you and them.
Well, it was on my property line, except for the 250 feet that the survey showed was on his side by less than 3 inches that he cut out.
It's kind of like me. We built about 7,000 feet of property line fence in the last week. When you build it on the property line, it's both fences, no matter who pays for it. So you might want to keep that into consideration when you go back. Like if you build a fence on the property line, it's mine and yours.
Right, it is on my side.
Okay.
Did you find this out after the surveyor? When the surveyor come out and resurveyed,
Yes.
then you found out it was on?
And I said I would do the fence, and that's when Colton and his father got their heavy equipment out, cut the fence, pulled up the fencing and the fence post, and rolled it up on top of that white car you see on that picture there. And that's the thing. I mean, that's not acceptable behavior, you know. And I mean, maybe it all does fall back on the civil case, but at the same time, though, you know, I still feel like if someone feels like they can get away with things that aren't right, they're going to keep getting away with them as well. And so that's why I'm here today, to make the awareness, to let you know about the problem, to let you know the problem is in our county, how it's related to the zoning, and how it's also related to people who think they can do a good job running our county and other counties that maybe should not be in that position.
Mr. Lowry, you want to comment?
No, I'm sorry for what you're going through. It's bound to be awful being by yourself and having to go through that. But I'm one of the ones that said I'm not for zoning. It would take a big groundswell of support of a group of people to get something like that for us to really consider it, I think. 'Cause so.
You know, what's interesting though is Dade County is so close to Tennessee. You know, we do have that issue. We've got Alabama on one side, we've got Tennessee, which is a no tax state. Here we are in Georgia. You know, we're so close to all this development and this major economic stuff going on in Chattanooga. I worked in Chattanooga. I retired from EPD. And so I saw a lot of the innovative stuff going on. You know, Dade County is a little bit behind, and we like our little country atmosphere, and we love, you know, to say we live in the country and can enjoy those freedoms. But some of our freedoms are not here because of living in the past as well, and some of those things. So I know we have issues with that in Dade County as well, and I think that's important to note. You know, that life changes, the world changes. We have to adapt to change, and sometimes that's not liking things like zoning. But like you said, Mr. Lowry, you're not all about zoning. You don't care. You know, you're anti-zoning. I heard you say that at the debate last week. But You don't have this mess going on next to your house though either.
I've had worse.
You have worse. I
I've
don't
had
know how
worse.
You can have worse. I don't know how you can have worse waking up in the middle of the night because you hear bulldozers going on and you're there by yourself. I don't think you've experienced that, just saying.
You don't know where I live.
Well, please come and see me. If you haven't been up there to see this mess yet,
No,
please come.
I've talked to Chairman Rumley several times. I know what you're going through, and I feel sorry for you, and I hate that you're going through that.
Thank you.
But when you turn to zoning, you talk about laws, or you're giving up a lot of rights when you do that. I mean, you're leaving your property rights up to a board that can change. Just because you've got zoning don't mean it can't change, and it's a big expansion of government, and that's what I'm against.
Well, but part of zoning is about following the rules, I mean, or any kind of laws, and that's it. And if people have their own, rights and wrongs, and do we work between these levels or these levels, it has to be defined. And that's what's that's what's causing a lot of these problems in Dade County with a lot of the junk and things that people are not happy with.
Well, there is ways to make rules and regulations without zoning, and that's what the people need to look at and to come to the commission and talk to us about, because we set in those rules and regulations, but the people have to be the ones to want them.
Yeah, and it's not like you're going to set up regulations for zoning like a real strict subdivision, where the driveway has to curve this way and you can't have a doghouse or anything like that. But the basic stuff that's unacceptable to any community needs to be outlined. Where do we start with that?
Exactly. That's
Where do we
a good
start with
question.
that? You're kind of looking puzzled, but kind of like, tell
You
me.
get the majority of the people behind it, and that's where you start. You don't come in and tell somebody to change the whole way of living of a county.
How do we start?
Yes, just because a few people want that to happen.
Is it a petition? Is it?
Get a
do we
petition,
have to
yeah. We went through petitions before. We went through petition. Get a petition in this county, and you get the names on there. People wants to actually have zoning and bring more government in their lives and take away freedoms that they have right now. Yeah, we'll definitely look at it.
Yeah, I would.
I've been here and I've went through this twice, and like I said, we may have enough of the millennium age. God, I thought I cut that off. I'm sorry. People here to actually do what now?
Your car warranty's out.
Probably as a 973 area code. I have no idea where that's at, but that's where it starts, honestly.
Well,
So get out and, if you want to and get behind it, go on Sand Mountain, go out here, go and look at it, go to Rising Farm, get these people to sign and say, yes, they want zoning in this county. You bring it up here and let's look at it. Yeah.
And as a new commissioner, for me, and I try to tell this to everybody I talk to, the more that people contact me and talk to me about what they want, what they need, what they want to see, the more I have to work with. I do get a lot of complaints, but I don't get, hey, let's look at this and really zone in and see what we could do about this problem or this issue, and let's look up some laws, because I'm ready to work anytime.
Well, I'm glad to
anytime.
hear that because I'm ready to work with you, and I know a lot of other people that would be anxious as well. So I guess we have to put our own team together and start doing something
Well,
about it.
that's how it starts. That's how it starts.
That's great. I will be in touch with you about that then. Thank you for that offer.
And my opinion's a personal opinion. That was a personal opinion I did at the debate, and that's a personal opinion I just give you now. My personal opinion's not what I rely on. If I can figure out what the people of this county are wanting, I'll go with it, whether it's what I want or not.
Majority rules. Yeah. We appreciate you coming now.
Thank you.
Okay.